So these are three fundamental ways. One is to strengthen the body, to make it like a rock, which will give a certain longevity to that person, which is considered superhuman by most people. Or to bring such a level of drunkenness and blissfulness within you that you don't care how long you live. Or to make yourself like thin air, that your perception is super hyped because there is absolutely no resistance to the system. The same secretions of the pineal gland can be used in three different ways, and Kaya Kalpa largely uses it to strengthen the body, to extend the longevity of the system. The foundation, Mula Adhar means it is a foundation. We must understand, this is the foundation of our physical structure. If this foundation is not stabilized, one will not know health, one will not know well-being, one will not know a certain level of sense of being stable and complete, because these qualities are very essential if you want a certain human being to make an effort to climb high. One who is shaky on his legs, you can't make him climb a ladder. Only one who is firm on his legs, you can ask him to climb, and he is willing to climb because there is a certain assurance in his legs. Assurance is not just in your mind, assurance is in your body also. This assurance is needed for one to walk through this planet efficiently and in a capable manner. If you're a little unsteady on your legs, you wouldn't want to walk, you would want to sleep. Only when you feel steady on your legs, you want to walk. So, Muladhara is the basis of this, an entire school of yoga. From ways of doing things with the body to reach your ultimate nature, an entire school of yoga evolved out of Muladhara. One fundamental school or one fundamental aspect of Muladhara which came out, a certain dimension of yoga, which got referred to as Kaya Kalpa, that means… Kaya means body, Kalpa means either establishing it, to bring stability to it. It also means extending it. Kalpa essentially means a certain unit of time, which is very large. In English we can say, it's like a eon, let's say a millennia. So you want to make the body last for a millennia or more, for a eon. There have been many beings who lasted out like this for hundreds of years because they practiced what is called as Kaya Kalpa, that is taking charge of the fundamental ingredient in the system, which is earth. It is the earth which has given us substance, taking charge of the earth. Taking charge of the earth also gives you certain other capabilities, that is, many things that the earth has to offer to us, many things that the soil has to offer to us. To be able to grasp that, one dimension of Bhuta Shuddhi, which is the earth, to be able to get that end to the system, to be able to get the juice of life into the system, you are seeing solidified mercury. This is Kaya Kalpa. This is stabilizing a liquid into a solid state, because mercury is referred to as rasa or the juice of this planet. This is the very juice. If you can solidify a liquid, which in its nature cannot be solid, then this is kaya kalpa. This means many aspects of this body which naturally deteriorate with time, you stabilize it in such a way that this deterioration is completely not at a freeze, but has slowed down to such a point that it looks like you're ageless and timeless, that you have a kaya which will last out a kalpa. That is a body which will last out an entire eon. There have been many beings like that, but these things take enormous amount of work of trying to make a body like a rock. There are rocks in the mountain. In our perception, they seem to be forever, but geologically we know they were formed and they will be dismantled. Because their time span is a kalpa in our understanding, because their lifespan is a kalpa in our perception and experience of life. If, a little bit smell of rain, not even rain, just the smell of rain, a few drops fell somewhere, suddenly these ants start flying with wings. They're on just for about an hour and a half or two and then they're gone. I'm sure in their experience, you are a kalpa. Even if you live half a life, still you're a kalpa. If you live for 50 years, those insects will think you are lasting forever. So kaya kalpa means that you look at something, let's say a rock, and you understand the composition of how a rock is made, what gives it that integrity that it will last for a period which is much, much longer than the period that this body will last, and try to make it like that. Or in other words, in some way you become a rock. There are automobile companies which are advertising that it's like a rock. If you don't know this, the Chevy ad says, it's like a rock. I don't know why you would like to drive a rock. Who would want to drive a rock? I hope the airplane companies don't take it up. If an airplane company says it's like a rock, obviously it won't fly, and if it flies, it'll drop like a rock. So kaya kalpa, if you do, you become like a rock. What is the point? Well, in a society, if you're like a rock, you can earn a living and you can act like a Superman, you can fascinate people. But a rock sometimes may not let you pass. So, the capability that comes in many different ways. In the sense, one aspect of kaya kalpa is, there is a certain dimension which today I wouldn't like to call this, but we are speaking in English language, so we need to cater to a certain logic, which people think is the only logic, which is completely wrong. There is something called as a pineal gland. The entire aspect of various aspects of yoga or sadhana of yoga is to move it little down, south, it's called, moving it south. This is the symbolism of Shiva turning south, because his third eye moved south. What was up here came down between the two eyes. The moment it came here, he saw things that nobody had ever seen. Now, if this happens in a certain way, The secretions of the pineal, which in yoga is referred to as amrit or amrita or amrutam probably in Sanskrit. This amritam either can be taken into the system to strengthen the system and increase or extend the longevity of the system. Or this amrita can be taken to create blissfulness in the system. Like a drug, it can just blow you away. Or you can use this amrita to enhance your perception that you can become like thin air because everything that is here passes through you. Right now, air passes only through your nostrils, and you know if it doesn't pass, you're gone. If this air can pass through right across you, some of you might at some moment felt when you're very carefree and joyful, you stood in the breeze, it feels like breeze is passing through you. And you become 100% transparent. That is because you've used your amrita to bring sensitivity to the system. So these are three fundamental ways. One is to strengthen the body, to make it like a rock, which will give a certain longevity to that person, which is considered superhuman by most people. Or to bring such a level of drunkenness and blissfulness within you that you don't care how long you live. Or to make yourself like thin air, that your perception is super hyped because there is absolutely no resistance to the system. The same secretions of the pineal gland can be used in three different ways, and Kaya Kalpa largely uses it to strengthen the body, to extend the longevity of the system. If you live here too long, others will want you to go. You may not want to go, but the rest will want you to go. A rock, we bear with it because it doesn't talk and walk. But if you hang around for too long, people will wonder when. But of course, some people will worship you because you look superhuman. Some people will be amazed by you because you don't die. Some people will be frustrated that you don't die. This amrita or this secretion of the pineal gland will play the right kind of role in the system. When I say right, in my perception, only if it enhances your perception, it is right, because if you do not enhance your perception, your life doesn't get enhanced in any way. It only gets enhanced in somebody else's eyes. If you become like a rock, your experience of life may not change. It is just other people think you're fantastic. Well, we could have made a statue out of you and you would have been a rock anyway. We didn't need a human being to become like a rock. If you have a rock for a brain, this will be the problem. You're always thinking, which is a bigger rock than you, which is a smaller rock than you. Your entire life goes into this as to which is superior, which is inferior, which is better, which is worse. Endlessly you will be comparing yourself because this is the nature of a rock. This is the nature of physical reality. Once you identify yourself with physical reality, which is better, which is worse, is a natural process of thought. Only if you transcend that, can you be free from this as to which is better and which is worse. So, the schools which evolved out of the sadhana on Muladhara, Muladhara is very important for your existence. But a human being, only a human being knows. No other creature is aware of this. Only human being knows just existing is not good enough. None of the other creatures have realized this. Rocks have not realized this. None of them, from amoeba to an elephant, have not realized this. because it is not in their nature. They think their existence is good enough. But only a human being can know, not that everybody knows, can know that existence is not good enough. Something else needs to happen.
I just want to know what is this, the Muladhara Chakra, the significance of Muladhara Chakra. And the second question was like about awareness.
Okay. I'm aware of that. The word Muladhara means that which is fundamental. It is a foundation. The body, as we know it today, has arranged itself in that way. If you look at the beginning after conception, it is a tiny ball of meat. The tiny ball of meat has slowly arranged itself like this. For it to arrange itself, some kind of software must be guiding it, isn't it? Some kind of software is guiding it to arrange itself in a particular way. Otherwise, every child could have come whichever way they wanted, isn't it? To arrange itself in this way, there's some kind of software. So, this is known as the pranamaya kosha or the energy body. The energy body forms itself first and the physical body starts manifesting over that. If there are any lapses in the energy body, if there's any distortions in the energy body, those distortions will manifest in the physical body also. It is because of this, in this country, in this culture, always it's been there. When a woman is pregnant, she goes to all kinds of places, she goes to the temple, she gets blessings from people because they're trying to influence the energy body. If she has a very vibrant, very well-formed energy body, she will deliver a very competent and capable human being. There's a whole lot of control which probably today they're not even aware of today because our lives have changed. So, in this energy body, the most fundamental is the Muladhara. The name itself suggests. It is the foundation of the energy body. What this is, what it is, if we talk about it, it's no good. Experientially, one needs to know. People think Muladhara is the lowest chakra and they think it's not worth working upon. It is a foundation. Anybody who thinks foundation is not something that we need to take care of is a fool, living in a fool's paradise, isn't it? If something in this building falls off, one little piece, if that balcony, that imitation of a balcony, if it falls off, only those people are unfortunate. But if the foundation gives way right now, it'll come on all of us, isn't it? So, when we say something is the foundation, that is the most important thing. Muladhara is the most important thing. Because people have not grown up experientially, they have grown up by reading books. For them, like this, Sahasrar, Agna, they read like this. They don't go like this, they read like this. They want to try the highest, not the lowest. This high and low business is too entrenched in book-reading minds. If you simply live life, you would know life in a different way. This high and low wouldn't be so big in your head. In book-reading minds, high and low is very, very established because it's a certain experience of life. It is a certain way of experiencing life which leaves you constantly… Page 1 and page 100 are two different things, isn't it? But that's not how life works. Life works in a different way. So Muladhara is the most important. When we do yoga, we are more focused on the Muladhara than anything else. Because if you stabilize this, the rest is easy to create. If you do not stabilize this, the other things are just… Your foundation of this building is loose and we are trying to hold up this building. Every day it's circus, isn't it? And that's what has happened to human life. They're everyday circus. Every day holding themselves up in some state of balance and well-being is a circus for most human beings. You have to fix the whole world for them to be balanced. Isn't it so? We have to fix the whole world and keep the stock market climbing up all the time for them to be balanced, otherwise they will not be balanced. If your Muladhara is stable, life or death, you'll be stable because your foundations are good. Other things, the balcony falls off, we'll fix it later. If something else fell off, we'll fix it later because the foundation is stable. If the foundation is unstable, anxiety is natural, isn't it? So the yogic systems always focused on the Muladhara, but in recent times, non-practicing yogis have written books and they say you must do higher chakras. They all want to climb. If you want to climb, I think death is the best way. Always it's been believed people go up. So must be a more efficient way of going up. For the first time, we are starting from 3rd of June, which is the Guru Purnima. We are starting Hatha Yoga teacher training in the yoga center. I used to conduct 2 or 3 day programs in Hatha Yoga some time ago. They would be wild Hatha Yogas, just Saturday, Sunday. They arrive on Friday evening and Saturdays, Sunday 2 full days. Just doing asanas, people would go crazy, laughing and crying and going mad, just doing asanas. That is how Hatha Yoga is. Hatha Yoga means balance. Balance does not mean sanity. There is something called as sanity, there is something called as insanity. If you want your life to be exuberant, you need to have some madness in you. No. But if you become compulsively insane, then you lost it. If you become perfectly sane, when anybody sits next to you, it feels like they're sitting in a grave. Sanity creates safety. Sanity means what? Everything fits into your logical dimension. That sounds sane. If you say something illogical, people will say you're insane, isn't it? Perfectly logical stuff is sanity. Illogical stuff is insanity. If you know how to go into insanity consciously and come back, you are called fun. If you're all the time perfectly sane, dread. Good man, but not for us. So what's called as balance is to stay between these two. That you are not sane, you are not insane. If you want, you can venture into this. If you want, you can venture into that. That means you're a full-scale life. So when we talk about balance, we are not talking about sanity. We are talking about finding that perch between sanity and insanity, that you can venture into this, you can venture into that. or you can venture into this and adventure into this. Madness is an adventure. It's the most wonderful thing, as long as it's in control. If you lose control, it'll become the ugliest thing. Similarly, sanity is such a beautiful thing. But if you become perfectly sane, you're as good as death. So this process of moving sanity, insanity, this ability to venture and adventure into whatever you want will come to you if your Muladhara is well established. Then you can play with this, you can play with that. Any moment into this, any moment into that. These two dimensions in a higher level of description is called as prajna and samadhi. In terms of attainment, if you attain in a sane way, it's called prajna. If you attain in an insane way, it's called as samadhi. Awareness. Two questions already very difficult. Awareness means nothing. It's a modern word which describes nothing. To be aware means people think that is alertness. A dog is more alert than you are. Yes? The reason why you brought a dog into your house is he's more alert than you are. So if you're very aware like that, we could hire you as a security guard. You're not good for anything else. So, when we say aware, awareness is aliveness. You know you're aware that you're here now, only because you're alive, isn't it? Your aliveness is awareness. If you're alive, you're aware. If you're not alive, you're not aware. Suddenly, you evaporate from this hall. You still occupy the physical space, but gone somewhere, isn't it? Oblivion. So when your awareness goes away, first comes sleep. If it goes away totally, then comes death. Yes, if your awareness completely vanishes, you're dead. Partially vanishes, you're asleep. What state are you? So do not try to practice awareness. Too much nonsense has happened in this direction. You just see how to make this life vibrantly alive. If this is vibrantly alive, you will naturally be aware. There's no other way to be. If you try to be aware, you will think up all kinds of nonsense. So do not practice awareness. Let's do something to make this super alive. If this is super alive, you will see it's fully aware, always.